Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Looks like it's up to my bros. Some basic info: I'm an airsoft enthusiast and me and my friends will have these wars. Really just weekend-long camping trips where we would appoint a spec ops team of 4 dudes to capture the base of 11 or 12 dudes. B19. First time as commander of spec ops. We all have been apart so far for one full 24-hour period. Late in the night around 1. Creeping toward the camp. Come up and raise my weapon as I pass the tents. No one there. The serious fuck? No one has seen them. Suddenly a mix between a scream of pain and fear rings out from the distance. SEAL Team Mod activate. Creeping toward the sound. Find friend on the ground, his leg broken in 2 places and 3 huge cuts on his chest. While looking at his chest, friend points out words carved in the tree. Weird symbols and such, but nothing discernible. Hear the growl again. Look up to see a figure about 50 yards away. Being full of piss, vinegar, and about 6 monsters, I grabbed my friend and carried him. Tactical nope all the way to the car and load him in. Left without the rest of the people, but to be fair, their car was there. We later found out that he had heard sounds off in the woods and snuck off to surprise us and apparently passed out halfway into the forest. When he came to, this thing was hovering over him.
What thing? Did he describe it to you?
He said it looked like a skinless dog, and when I said hovering, I meant it was super close to him. He said it had eyes redder than hell. He further went on to say it was the size of a Great Dane and it was what broke his leg and scratched his chest. I still hang out with him, he's a drummer in my band. I have another nope story involving that, and every time he gets around dogs he starts shaking, and if the dogs are big, he will leave immediately. Follow-up story. I've played guitar since I was 14 and have played gigs regularly since I was 16. Now at this time in the story I was about 17 playing at a friend of mine's house party. Dan, dude damn near attacked by a dog from hell, is my drummer and mentioned once or twice. Be guitarist in my band. Call ourselves Saint Lucifer. Playing to a crowd of about 70 to 80 kids. Wrap up the set at about 12 and start packing up. Equipment all loaded in Dan's van, so I start to drink. 2 hours go by and I've been chatting it up with people about our up and coming show at a local nightclub. Random girl walks up to me with a drink. Says she loved hearing me play and wanted to ask about guitars. I take the drink cause fuck it, not like I have anything to be afraid of. Follow her out to the patio. She is pretty good looking and talking, so she's a clear winner in my book. Talking turns to making out. I down the last of my drink and get a really bitter taste in my mouth. She pulls me in and whispers,
"Do you want to be my slave?"
What the fuck? I turn to walk away but start to feel like my feet are melting into the floor. I fall and hit the ground. She's standing over me smiling. Pass out like a bitch. Wake up in a hospital room. Mom is sitting by me. She starts crying, asking why I would take drugs at a party. She says that she is waiting for a toxicology report or some shit like that. My mom yells at me for days talking about how my father was a drug addict and that's what killed him. The same reason I've never touched anything harder than weed or a stone sour in my life. Report comes back no drugs. Mom recounts how I ended up in the hospital. I was taken into the hospital 3 days prior and pronounced legally dead when I arrived and came back to life after CPR. When I get out I meet up with Dan, ask him about that girl who drugged me. He says he never saw me talk to anyone. I apparently just stood there talking to myself drinking vodka. Fucking nope nope nope. Never drink at a house party again unless I physically open the beer or have my own flask of booze. Now one thing I can say is that I don't get drunk all my life. I've had a tolerance to medication and alcohol, so I can normally put away inhuman amounts of alcohol without feeling a tingle. As the years rolled on, I never saw the girl again. I have huge trust issues as a result, and her southern accent still rings in my ears clear as a bell. Do you want to be my slave? I have 2 more stories. Anyone want to hear them? Alright, I have a shit tone as I type 1. I remember 2 more. Be me. About a week ago, at a jazz club, first time playing in a jazz band, walking around looking for a place to piss. Find a bathroom in the far back of the club. Start doing my business. Girl stumbles in screaming. She falls to the ground screaming, "Someone, anyone help me." I run over to her. She appears to have been shot. She's wearing a 1950s get-up with one of those fur coats. Blood is fucking everywhere all over my suit on the floor. I tell her to hold still and I would go get someone. Sprint my suited up ass down the hall and get the manager and 2 security guards. Bust open the door. Nothing, no blood, no girl, no nothing. Look down at my suit, no blood. Fucking nope. Go back to the main room and take in the stage play for a while. Suddenly an old man appears out of the crowd and taps me on the shoulder. He says,
"The manager told me you saw her."
"Who?" I say, trying to play it off.
"Dolly."
The man responds, "What the fuck?" He goes on to explain that back in the 50s when he used to bus tables here, this call girl would hang around the joint. She was apparently shot by a John in the bathroom over a money dispute, and apparently only appears to lone jazz players in the bathroom. Nope. Walking out to my car after the gig. See something on the hood of my car. Bloody fur coat. All of my nopes.
I was like 18 at the time this happened. Late summer, hot as balls outside. The weather is perfect for camping. Bros decide to go camping at the nearby farm. Tell them I can't make it because I have to work early the next day. I lied, and I knew where they were going to be, so a mission to scare is initiated. At around 1 a.m. I begin 2 to 3 miles of woods and pasture between them and me. The only problem is that what we call the spooky woods is dead in the middle of the path. For years we have heard strange noises, like knocking and weird screams that upon research match not a single thing that inhabits the area. I even checked peacocks and bird species. So I slip out in full camo, and the only thing I bring is a hunting knife. No one knows of left, no one knows I'm coming. Mistake 1. Full moon, and I know the way so I don't bring any light or cell phone. Mistake 2. First bit, it's uneventful. Pass through pasture and reach the fence that borders the woods. Plop myself over the gate and immediately I feel like I'm being watched. So I start down the well-worn cattle path and I hear a crunch. Thinking nothing of it, I keep going until I hear a twig snap. I stop and listen and hear nothing seriously, not even a frog or a cricket. It is dead quiet. *SNSP. Like someone broke a big stick over their knee. At this point I start to jog thinking I've started a deer. Then snap, I look down thinking I'm stepping on a stick. In the moonlight I can make out ground under me and in front of me is just dirt. There are no sticks to step on. Another loud snap almost makes me shit myself. Time to motherfucking run. I'm running as hard as I can and I can hear branches breaking and swishing like they are being brushed aside not far behind me. All I can hear is my heartbeat. My foot falls and something running just as hard behind me. In my mind all I can think is get to the next field and you will be able to see what you're up against. This thing is literally right on my ass. I make it to the field. The grass is like 2 to 2.5 feet tall. I can hear the grass thrashing like 10 feet behind me. Think to myself, fuck it, it's gonna catch me. I do a 180 and pull my knife out. And the only way I can describe what I saw was like the tall grass scene from Jurassic Park. The grass is parting, coming straight at me. I yell, what the fuck? Grass stops like 2 feet from me. There is nothing fucking there. I think holy shit, I imagined the whole thing. I can see the grass is fucking parted like something is standing there when it fucking rips off. I just fucking stood there watching fucking scared shitless. As I can see the grass just getting thrown side to side heading straight back to the woods. I'm thinking I could kinda hear footsteps too, but I'm not totally sure. If it was an animal I would have seen it, the grass wasn't that high. Fucking run straight to the campsite freaking out yelling, who the fuck was down there? No one was, they said they didn't think I was coming. I heard knocking from the spooky woods later when everyone was asleep. What the fuck is in my woods?
B25. Driving home from work at 4 a.m. I worked behind the bar in a nightclub at the time. Nice night, not tired at all, ready to get home and watch some TV for a few hours before I go to bed and repeat the process. Pull into my driveway and instantly notice something is off. All of my lights are off inside of the house when I usually leave the living room and bedroom light on. Decide to investigate. Leave car running in case I need to get the fuck out of there. Unlock the front door and walk inside. Notice how fucking cold the house is, and I look through my dining room window to see that the back door has had all of the glass smashed out of it. Weird, nothing seems to be stolen, or even touched for that matter. Decide it's best to go to my friend's house, and call the police. Get in car to leave. As reverse out of my driveway, I see a tall as fuck figure standing in my living room window, but I can't make out any features because of the darkness. Nope. Speed off out of there faster than a cheetah on steroids. About 2 weeks after this shit happened, I came home from work to find my house on fire. Mega nope. Be 3 days after the break-in. I have a new door put in already because fuck the cold weather. Just getting ready to go to work. Got my t-shirt, jeans, and a bag with an extra pair of clothes in case a customer decides it's a good idea to throw booze at me. The break-in is still on my mind, and I'm slightly paranoid about my house as a whole. Started feeling like I'm being watched whenever I pass the large living room window during the night. Feel uneasy being anywhere downstairs at night. Constantly see stuff moving out of the corner of my eye. Play it off as my imagination. Yeah, that's thump. Oh for fuck. Thump. Sounds like someone is bouncing a huge basketball hard down onto the ground from my fucking roof. No idea what the fuck it is. Feel the house shake whenever it hits the roof. Go outside to see if you can see it from the ground. Nothing weird. Maybe my dish fell down or some shit. Yeah, that'll be it. Shit, late for work. Go back inside, and get my bag, sling it over my shoulder. As reach the bottom of the stairs, I hear what sounds like someone throwing a fucking desk chair down behind me. But when I turn around to look, there's fuck all there. Nope, I'm out. Drive to work. Come home, and find that my bedroom window is wide open. More than wide enough for someone to climb through. I leave that window closed, and locked at all times because the wind catches it if so much as leaves it open a crack. I live on the top floor, no way someone could have opened it up without being on the roof. No thank you, not tonight. Call my friend, and go and stay with her for the night.
Might not be scary for you guys, but it definitely got me noping out. So, a while ago I moved into a new place with my family, a double-story house. All the doors/walls are effectively soundproof and it's dark as hell if you don't have any light sources. So, I was just lazing about upstairs, since the family was out and I was home alone, and I could have sworn I could hear some really faint music and talking, despite the door being closed. When I opened the door, the sound stopped, and when I stood at the top of the staircase, nothing blatantly suspicious happened, but the lights in my room started to flicker. As I'm the paranoid type who lets their imagination run wild, that was already freaking me out. So I go back into the room, close the door and start playing some music. After a while I hear the talking again. it sounds angrier than before. I go out to the top of the staircase again, and while I'm standing there the lights start flickering again, only this time I hear some loud bang come from downstairs. So at this point I just nope the fuck out, lock myself in the room and barricade it with some shelves. This was a little under a year ago, so I'm still in the same house, and I just cannot work up the nerve to go downstairs when the lights are out and nobody else is home. Darkness is never darker than when you're afraid of what might be in it.
With cousin and friend walking dog in the not creepy at all place known as Devil's Wood. Devil worshipping is said to have happened there right up until the 90s. Anyway, walk the dog at about 12:30 or 1 a.m. Dog is off the lead, only a small terrier and massively obedient. In the middle of the woods, completely dark. There was a storm in about 2001 and the place is full of fallen trees that you need to clamber over. Hear movement in the dark slightly to the right of where we are. Dog suddenly stops and bolts towards the noise. Shouted the dog to come back, but there's no response. Hear it growl, but the kind of growl when a dog has hold of something it doesn't want to let go of. Hear grunt. Hear what sounds like branches being moved when someone runs into them in a hurry. Hear dog yelp. Not sure what to do because we have no light source and no weaponry, but decide we have to get the dog back. Just about to go where the dog went. Dog returns, in no kind of distress, looks at us panting and walks back over to us. Decide to put it back on lead so it doesn't run away again. Leave the woods shortly after. Look down. Dog's entire head and back is covered in blood that isn't its own. We still never really worked it out. Rats and hedgehogs squeal when they get bit, but I'm not really sure about foxes. The place is just eerie as fuck anyway. There was a guy that lived in his own makeshift camp there for absolutely years. There's fuck knows how many cholera victims buried there thanks to the cholera breakout out of 1853 or 54. There was the hole that just fucking appeared overnight in the side of the hill, but the other story with the other dog is always the one that unnerves me the most.
What? And you're not going to tell it?
Just for you I will. Friend adopts a dog that's 3 years old and has been badly treated. One of the most vicious dogs I've ever seen, completely fearless. Nearly everyone knows except me and my friend and will try to attack anything regardless of size. It attacked a tree that had fallen over once in the dark for no reason and we couldn't get it off. Friend walks dog alone to the woods one night about 2 a.m. Only walks him to just inside where there's a clearance where we would have fires. Puts his leader over an old thin dead tree so he can't run away and so he can have a bucket. I've explained this part somewhere else. Kneels down to have a bucket facing the dog. Dog starts staring slightly to the side of his face. Dog lowers its head and puts its back end up and starts seriously growling. Friend starts to panic because whatever the dog is looking at is directly behind him. Friend is unsure whether to turn around or jump up and run or what. Suddenly, the dog starts whimpering, lies down and does a submission thing. Friend drops a bucket, grabs the lead from over the tree stump and runs home without looking back. I can't stress just how much out of character it was for the dog to submit like that. The growling part and the being vicious could have obviously been the dog being confused by shadows or whatever with it being dark, but certainly not the submission. There's something spectacular in those woods. I just know there is.
Jesus, shit, that really scared me because I had a similar experience with my dog. Pretty freaky, if you want to hear it.
Sure. Man, go right ahead. I love it when I hear similar stories I can relate to.
B17. Half dog. Dog is Akita breed, which is some hunting dog or some shit. Very aggressive, always wanting to kill. Has killed 2 stray cats, because I am the shittiest dog owner imaginable and can't even control it. Thinking of putting the dog down. Go take a walk through the forest around the back of my house. Dog is fine. Dog takes a massive dump. In the middle of the dump she starts shaking and whimpering. I think she's dying because I'm a dumbass. She stops shaking and immediately starts barking at random places so loudly I have to cover my ears. I'm thinking my dog is possessed now. She runs as fast as possible back to the house. I run after her. While running, I glimpse a figure behind me about 50 feet in camouflage clothing. Nope, so hard that I am dying when I get back to the house. Dog is under the couch, cowering. Lock doors. Pull curtains over windows. Don't go outside for 2 days. Dog is now completely placid and doesn't exhibit any signs of being aggressive. That experience actually saved my dog from being put down.
That is seriously fucking odd. It's dem woods, man. I've got a feeling that whatever was behind my friend could have been the guy who lived in the woods. I don't think he was violent though, because I tried to post a picture of the area but Google is being fucking shit. I walked past where his camp was. It's cut off from the road by a fence. I was on the path. It's a pretty long road with literally nowhere to run except up and down it. Anyway, I was walking up, heard a noise behind the fence and seen someone looking back at me, so I kept walking and kept looking, and he was following me the whole way up, and I know that halfway up there's a fence that would block him from going any further, and he followed me all the way to the middle without incident. Then I realized I had left my phone at my GF's, which explains why I was walking up this road in the middle of the night. She lived at the bottom and across. I could walk the long way to her house, but that would have put an hour on my walk home, or I could walk back the way I came and risk something happening to me. In the end I shit myself. Did neither and got my phone the next day. Maybe he was some kind of guardian. The dude you seen though, I'm definitely not putting him in the guardian category, and I'm firmly putting him in the what category. It's very strange how much your dog calmed down after that though.
Not paranormal, but it scared the hell out of me. Me and some friends decide to drive into one of the canyons at the end of town and look for an old abandoned campsite with a mini waterfall. The canyon is a super narrow 2-lane road with a 10 feet drop on one side and the canyon wall on the other. Need to slow down to make some of the tighter turns without going over or into a wall. Finally get to what we think is the old campsite and drive down the road. End up right next to this super old creepy shack/house, like we were in its driveway. White car pulls down behind me. Do a U-turn and haul us out. Me and my friends give up looking and just drive up another 29 minutes or so and get out and just hang for a bit. After a while we decided to head home, but not even 5 minutes after we got on the road I noticed a huge white pickup truck barreling down the road behind me. I expect it to pass, but it just gets right up on my ass, and I can see the driver flailing his arms around and whatnot. Decide to just keep driving and hope he eventually passes. He never does and just swerves across both lanes of traffic behind me honking. Eventually the road widens enough for him to pass me and slam on his brakes in front of me, forcing both of our cars to stop. Guy jumps out of car screaming nonsense and about trying to hurt his wife and kid. Spend a minute trying to reason with him as he just screams at me through my window in the middle of the road. Out of nowhere he runs up to his truck bed and pulls out a rifle. Pointing rifle at me through the windshield, still screaming something about his wife and kid. At this point luckily traffic was piling up behind me as this guy was just screaming and waving a gun around. People start honking and he throws the gun in the back and drives off. Still have no idea what the fuck he was on about.
I've got a story involving my dog. Be a year ago. Sitting in the living room watching TV with my dad at night. My dog is laying at the top of the stairs. Out of nowhere she gives a single bark. I look down the hall and she is standing, tail kinda between her legs, ears down. I thought she heard someone outside, but on second thought this was different. Keep watching TV. Look to my right and see her slowly creeping down the hallway very tensely. She gets to my dad's open bedroom doorway and starts sniffing. Tell my dad, he thinks nothing of it. Every 10 minutes I'd see her hesitantly walk down the hall to my dad's doorway and investigate. Never seen her act so tense. When she wasn't down the hall she'd lay in the middle of the hallway facing his door. So after her repeating this literally 4 times, my dad gets up and goes to his room. Turns on light. Points inside and says, "Get 'em bad guys. Go get them bad guys." This usually gets her going. Without taking a step into his room she starts barking like mad over and over. She would almost go into his room but never fully would. My dad checked his bedroom and nothing was there. But whether my dog saw/heard someone or didn't, she was thoroughly convinced something was in his room. It was pretty unnerving seeing her so freaked out. I've never experienced anything like that.
I got a dog story too. Live near friends. The only thing between our houses is like 1/4 mile of road and 3/4 of a mile of farmland, apples, corn, peaches, that shit. Chilling with a friend on his side in a deer stand, got my dog tied up on the tree. Chill till it gets dark, part ways. I've never once seen my dog submit. She's aggressive till she's in deep shit, then hauls ass to safety. Seriously, so fucking fast. Have a dog on a very long lead. Hear trees a few rows over rustling. Part way home she just stops and looks around real for a minute. I stop, feels tense. She just all out sprints. Normally walks along at a happy pace. I figure fuck it, guess we're outta here. We both nope home. Only was odd cause she'd normally go see what it was, so I didn't want to take a chance. She's always had a good sense of when to nope, so I trust her. Very well could have been nothing or a farmhand, even though I've chilled there with them too.
I had a pretty similar experience a few months back, maybe not spooky but weird. Friend's cat staying at my place while she's away. Cat is pretty chill, fat little fuck, doesn't react to anything but affectionate as hell with people she knows. One night darts out of the living room faster than I've ever seen her move. Hear her crying, go to investigate. Find her slowly backing away from my partially open bedroom door, shoulders down. Cat runs behind my legs when I'm a few meters away. Turn on the bedroom light and go to step in. Cat wraps front paws around my leg as if pulling me back and starts crying again. I'd been looking after her for a couple of weeks at that point, and I'd always find her under my bed or in a closet she'd figured out how to open adjacent to it when I got back from work, but after that she never went in that room without me.
Ex-firefighter here. Receive call from law enforcement of a structure fire. Get in the truck, vroom vroom, etc. Arrive there and start to pull hose from the truck. Side note, I'm an animal lover, and at the time I had 2 dogs. The person who lived in the house was a dog groomer. Known her for like 6 years. She's in her early mid-50s. From the front of the house, the fire looked containable and didn't impose much of a threat to the structure. Do 360 walks around. Entire basement is engulfed. Backdraft starts playing in my head. Try to go into the side door. See chimney start separating from house. We back the fuck out. Save the lady's dog that was tied to the house. House was pretty much gone. Next day I found out the woman had 2 other dogs. Also found out she had been tripped by one of her dogs 2 hours before the fire started and was in the hospital. 2 months later. Outside smoking and drinking. Hear dog collars clanking. See 2 dirty-looking dogs. They follow me around without letting me touch them for 30 minutes or something. Go inside to get more beers. Come out. Dogs are gone. The woman still claimed she only had the dog that was outside. I'm not sure if these dogs are some kind of spirit thing or not. The woman did hit her head, but why would she only claim that one dog was hers if she had no concussion or amnesia?
Now that you mention it, similar experience in my local park, St. Anne's Park, Dublin, Ireland. The park is a few hundred acres big with a massive perimeter, and they kind of try to close it off at night. When I was younger, my friends and a lot of other kids used to go in there at night and have mass-scale parties and stuff. Bums and the like also went in for shelter costs, a lot of trees and a few old castle remains and stuff. Anyway, one night, at party. It's in a big open pitch, good atmosphere. At 3 a.m., people start leaving, only about 20 people there, the hard course. Decide to hit it. The playing fields are on the exact opposite side of the park that I want to be on, so it's a good 20 or 25 minute walk through the park to get home. Usually I walk around the park. Tonight it's late, so I decided to walk through the park to save time. Walking through the park, at pick related. Hear the gravel a bit behind me. Think it's someone else from the party, or maybe a bum. Think possibly fucked. Keep walking. Sound keeps following me. Eventually turn around. No one there. What? I hide behind a tree, footsteps getting closer. Sound like they stop right at the other side of the tree. Can't move, too scared. After a while I start backing up while keeping a good eye on the tree. After about 15 feet back I bolt and GTFO. The sound of someone sprinting after me. I'm unfit as fuck, think I'm fucking dead. Steps are getting closer. Fuck it, turn around and swing right behind me. No one there. I kind of look around me, to make sure nothing. Too dark, can't see shit. Sprint home. Alright, I jog some of the way. Feel like I'm being followed the whole way home, probably just paranoid. That night I just stared through my blinds until the sun came up again. I've never been so fucking terrified in my life.
Be me about 4 months ago. Live within walking distance of an isolated Civil War cemetery way up on some hill on Main Street. Decide to go with a friend one night around 2 a.m. Eerily quiet walk up the hill, feel as if I'm being watched, but don't want my friend to think I'm a pussy. I say nothing until we're inside the gates. As soon as we cut the flashlight on, we hear rustling in the surrounding woods. Must be an animal. Suddenly, a shadow dashes across the area we have the light pointed at. Human shape, but moving far too quickly to be human, almost looks as if it's floating. Friend and I both see this clear as day. Exchange terrified glances and nope the fuck out of there. Rustling in woods continues all the way down the hill. Run as fast as I can until we reach the street. Never return. I used to go and drink with friends at this same cemetery as a teenager. I've had several other weird experiences here over the past few years.
A few days ago. Sleeping at night. Suddenly wake up. Very alert, accompanied by an intense feeling of dread. There's a red light emanating through my blinds. Immediately jump out of bed and try to get out my bedroom door, because I'm so on edge. The second I stand up, I'm overcome with insane amounts of fatigue. Struggling to make it out of my room. Collapse on the floor by my door. The last thing I see is the red light growing brighter. Pass out. Wake up in my bed in the morning. Assume it must have been a nightmare since it was so outlandish, but I wasn't jolted awake like bad dreams usually have the tendency to do, I just awoke like usual. It seemed more like a bad fuzzy memory. Dismiss it as a dream, it must have been one. Later in the day, hanging out with my girlfriend. She points out raised markings on the underside of my arm. It's 4 dots in a curve, and 4 lines at an angle opening towards the dots. What the fuck? Shit bricks. Must have been spoopy aliens. No, but seriously, I think I might have been abducted. The markings are still there, but more faded now. I'm just trying not to think about it too much.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.